Hello, friends, and welcome back. It's your favorite tank, Gung Ho Guns, still rocking the stash. That's both a requirement and a privilege to behold. In today's video, we're diving into the Torture Chamber of Screams, the 2-star dungeon that sounds worse than your in-laws on Thanksgiving. I'll be breaking it all down from a tank's perspective, the complete cheese, as well as the strats that you need to actually beat this and make it a breeze. So fellow tanks, grab your shields, stock up on some Capri Suns, and let's go show Colligrass, which is by the way the boss's name, why this dungeon is no match for a well-prepared stash. Let's go. Hello, my fellow tanks, and welcome back. Genuinely appreciate each of you for taking a few minutes to come hang out with me. In this video, we'll cover all the mini bosses, especially the main boss as well, the main strats on how to actually beat this dungeon. Plus, at the end, I'll have a cheeky cheese method for the last boss. Take advantage of it now before it gets patched. Thank me later. So let's dive in. As you step into the dungeon, you'll be greeted by a delightful assortment of zombies and other baddies to dispatch. Nothing too scary except this guy, the brainwashed guard. Let's hope it is a he, by the way, but either way, this dude has one job: to ruin your day. His charge attack is a one-hit KO. And if you're backed up against a wall or an obstacle, you're toast, no matter how much AP you got. How to handle it properly. Turn him so his charge lands in an open space behind you, avoiding any walls or objects. That way you cannot collide with anything. Alternatively, if you have some stuns in your group, you can just literally stun it and burn it before he even charges. Here is a really cool thing. If for some reason he does kill you, you can just get up and come back. No big deal. There's a lot of close rooms and areas in this dungeon, so you are bound to die. Again, it happens. Try to just come back and brush it off. Let's move on. Next up, we got our first mini boss, the Torture Chamber Warden. This guy is as straightforward as it gets. Classic tank and spank. Literally no mechanics, no surprises. Just keep your shield up and kill the damn thing. But there is one thing you should absolutely watch out for when you get in here. Do not pull the boss until everyone is in the room. Why? Because this guy is pretty petty. He slams the door behind you shut when you start the fight, meaning that everybody outside the room can no longer help you until the fight is over or you're all dead. So again, make sure that all your party members are in the room before you pull the fight. Otherwise, you'll have to fight it man or two down. After the Warden takes his final death bow, he drops something very important, a possessed Warden's axe. Tanks, I don't recommend that you guys take this. I never take this. Let someone else grab the axe while you focus on doing what you do best, holding aggro, especially in the next stages as we're going to need to. Whoever picks up the axe will transform into the boss himself. Yes, you get to be a big bad boy for a couple of minutes. Your 1, 2, and 4 abilities on your toolbar are damage dealers. You can actually help your team, fight and do some damage with it. Your number 3 ability is very important in the next room. So again, we'll talk about that here in a second. And the first puzzle that we get. A quick FYI, if you interact with any of the purple books, you haven't gotten them or anything, you will lose the transformation from the axe that you get. That's okay if that happens, or if you die, you can just go back to the same room where you killed the boss, pick up the axe again, and it'll transform you. FYI, you need to be in that boss form for the next puzzle, and let's talk about it. All right, the first puzzle that we get. As you head downstairs, you'll notice a wall with 4 symbols glowing in a reddish purple hue. This is your first clue. It's critical to solving this puzzle ahead. Here's the easiest way to handle this. Option 1, take a quick screenshot or a snippet of the symbols on your computer. Or 2, memorize them. Thankfully, the symbols resemble letters, so you can just jot them down in group chat if needed. For example, they always look alike to me anyway as XTRP. So again, you can just, whatever order they're in on the wall, you want to put that in your group chat. That's very important. All right, and then heading on to the next room. In the next room, you'll also have these symbols in the cells. So what you have to do is 1, clear all the mobs, don't leave anybody lurking around, and 2, open all the cells. Inside each cell, you will find these glowing symbols. They correspond to the ones you saw earlier on the walls themselves, and there's a button on the wall as well. The person that's carrying the axe, this is where they go in. If they hit their ability 3, it will actually show the glowing letters on the walls, and you'll be able to tell which one is which. Here's the goal. Press the buttons in each of the cells in the exact order of the symbols you saw in the previous room. One person can do this solo, or you can split it between 1 or 2 people, really up to you. Again, the main thing here is make sure that each button is pressed in the correct order, or you'll have to just restart over and over again. Again, one more time. The numbers or the letters that you saw in the previous room from left to right, that is the correct order. You just have to press the buttons on the wall in the exact way in the cells. Once you do this, again, some other mobs will come out, you kill them, and then we move on. As we proceed, we get to puzzle 2, our second puzzle of here, the zombie apocalypse, as I like to call it. So again, welcome to the zombie rave, folks. Here's how this room works. Once you interact with the magic circle in the middle, a large red circle will appear. Zombies will start pouring in like it's Black Friday at a mall. The objective here is kill all the zombies within the red big circle. Each zombie you slay inside contributes to filling one of the 3 collection devices in the room. Your second objective is to protect the collection devices. Zombies will try to destroy them eventually. If they succeed, you'll have to start again, filling it up again and again and again. So what I like to do is gather all of our team right in the middle and just kill them, right there and then. Again, tips for success, trust me on this, guys, is make sure you tell people to kill him within the circle. Every group or random group that I played with, there's always that one short bus guy that just does not freaking listen. Anyway, stay alert. If your device gets destroyed, you have to redo everything again over. So again, let's move on. Our second mini boss is ahead, the torture tactician. Ah, yes, the tactician. Here to remind you that standing in the wrong place really hurts. But don't worry, folks. This fight is as simple as red means bad, green means good. Let's break it down. Mechanic here. The red and green squares. Red squares, avoid them like they're charging you rent. These will summon spikes or whatever you want to call them. They'll make you say, ouchie. The green squares are like your best friends. You want to stand on them. When the room fills with them, if you stand on them, those spikes that come out won't hurt you. Again, remember that. The tips for success here. 1, dodge the reds. The spikes from the red squares are really quick, so keep an eye on it for your positioning and try to roll dodge out of it if you can. Find the green squares and stand on them, especially when they start bringing a lot of these things from the ground, these spikes. You can break the spikes when they're, ahead of you. You can attack the spikes to create a path if you get stuck. Just don't waste too much time, again, or you'll become a kebab. Death isn't the end. If you die here, you can just teleport back in and kill it. I have yet to do or have a random group that does this perfectly. But again, you can just do this and make it to the boss. Again, you can roll dodge out of those spikes. Anyway, let's move on. There's a really nice little guillotine blade elevator here. I won't spoil it for you, but let's just say take your time and have fun. Main boss time, Kali Grass, the Babe of Chaos. Ah, yes, the main event. Why we're all here, Kali Grass. The boss you all been waiting for, equal parts terrifying and annoyingly straightforward if you follow a few really simple tips. I'll break it down for you as easy as possible. 1, preparation. This is very important. We have to do this. Whoever the group lead is, either ask them for it or you get the group lead yourself. Before anyone as so much as gets near the boss or starts the fight, put party pins on the floor, 5 of them. They're going to be your best friend, just like I have them in here. Have your group leader place pins 1 through 5 along a straight path near the boss towards the exit going out like so. Trust me, these will be a lifesaver for the main mechanic later on that we'll cover. Spoiler, it's zombies. Again, pro tip, get this done first before you do anything else, okay? Second tip, or step 2, embrace the gray sword tank. Look, I've also been tinkering with the spear tank for a while now, and it's fun and flashy, but let's real, the gray sword tank moment to shine is now. And why, you ask? The Da Vinci buff, my friends, with this bad boy active, this fight becomes absolute cheese. like go to level cheese. So again, do yourself a favor, switch to the great sword. Channel your inner sword of destruction and let the boss know you mean business. Again, trust me, do this here. I definitely recommend it. Step 3, dodge everything like your life depends on it. Fellow tanks and other players, let's get one thing straight. We as tanks can eat a few hits because we're built for it, right? But for the DPS and healers, oh no, they'll drop faster than my faith in random groups. So let's not add to the healer's misery, help them save their mana, and focus on those random players who don't know how to dodge. Here's the kicker, the real kicker here, why I say this. Dodging isn't just important for the healer, it's actually crucial for the final mechanic, the zombies. Trust me, you'll need to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Yes, the sacred 5 Ds of tanking. Miss this step, and you'll be the star of a wipe montage. Again, let's not be the problem stink. Let's show them how it's done. For the rest of you players, DPS and so forth, make sure that you are also dodging these perfectly. Again, I'll talk about this in a little bit, why this is very important. But let's move on to step 4. Step 4, the Spotlight of Dreams, aka Arrow from the Sky. All right, my friends, tanks and melee enthusiasts, listen up. Caligrass has a flair for the dramatic, and the Spotlight of Dream just is proof of that. A massive glowing arrow, or I should say spotlight, will be shown on like 2-3 people, descending from the heavens themselves. And here's what you have to do. Just avoid it. Move the hell out of it. Easy peasy. Again, he'll summon these arrows from the ground that kind of come up and do damage if you're stuck in there. They stun you. But again, dodging is important. Stay away from the spotlight. We're going to be shy in this step. Let's move on. Step 5, a really easy one, is the conal attack, dodge it like a pro. Again, what I like to do here is you see it coming down, you have some time, I will simply just walk to either side of the boss and go behind him. I literally can avoid this at every time. This does not fire off right away, so you have some time to move. Again, after you see the first one, it will be super, super easy. This one is a little less dramatic. Let's move on. Step 6, the 3 shards of chaos. All right, friends, this is where things get a little flashy. Caligrass will summon 3 ominous shards above heads of 3 unlucky players in the group. This could be you as well, so as a tank, keep an eye on this. Again, just watch for the actual shards. Separation is key. To try not to overlap these, because what the boss is going to do is he's going to do these conal attacks that's going to just straight up attack at each of the players where the shards are. Again, what I like to do here is, again, I tell if it's on me, I just separate from the group, everybody else. You kind of go in 2 different corners because that's where they're going to attack. You can survive 1 hit of these, but it's really hard when you overlap them. That's where things get, a little dicey. So again, pro tip here, do not overlap them. It's okay if you get hit by 1, not a big deal, but you can try to avoid the rest for the other players. Let's move on. Step 7, I think it's step 7, Da Vinci's cheese, as I like to call it. So folks, when we're stepping into this cheese, right, territory, who doesn't love a little dairy in these dungeon runs? Excuse the joke. So here is what happens. The mechanic is Caligrass will summon 5 big red tornadoes or spinning blades. Tornado just sounds way cooler. That circle each of the players in your group, and if you don't handle it correctly, they're gonna slice and dice them like a pizza platter. Okay, here's the cheese and how this works. This is why I switched to Great Sword and Shield just for this fight. Your Da Vinci's Courage buff here is you see in the video. If you activate it, along with there's another healer buff that needs to be activated as well, some kind of shield, you can literally cheese this entire thing. The entire group, if you separate and do that while you get this, the entire party will take 0 damage. Again, I don't know if this is supposed to be the way it is or if it's a bug or not, but this is how we've been doing it, and literally the entire group takes no damage. So again, make sure you have Da Vinci's Courage. Make sure that you and your healer, as these come up in the middle, you apply it. Save your Da Vinci's Courage just for this mechanic. As soon as you see it come up, you press it. Then you can separate and your entire group will literally take no damage, just like so. Let's move on. Step 8, the Charge of Doom, if you will. Tanks, fellas, teammates, ladies, pay attention. This mechanic comes at you really fast. Caligrass is about to turn 1 poor soul into a sitting duck, and if you don't act together, it's lights out for them. The setup. Calligraphs will select one unlucky player, teleporting them to the edge of the arena, stunning them. They will not be able to move this entire mechanic. The boss then will teleport on the opposite side of the arena and the player, winding up for a devastating charge directly at the stunned player. If he connects, it's KO, baby. No second chances here. How to beat it. So here's, we're going to do this in steps. Step 1, find the stunned player ASAP. Again, you can see them because they'll be teleported to the edge and they won't be able to move. You can easily tell where the player is. Time is the essence here. Okay, you got to find them fast. 2, form a human shield between you, the stunned player and the boss himself. The entire group needs to do this. Y'all need to stand again in like a line as a human shield between the stunt player and the boss. As the boss charges, step 3, you will need to hit your Q ability. Again, you hit it before the boss even charges. It's really forgiving here, but the more players that are there and hit their Q ability, the better this goes off. If this is done correctly, the player will then be unstunned and he can dodge the boss's attack. The boss will still hit in front of him, by the way, and it'll be a lot of damage. But again, if you do this correctly, the player is no longer stunned. He can kind of move out of the conal hit. Also, tip, all the other players standing in there that hit their Q ability, as soon as you hit your Q ability and you see the connect, get the hell out of the way, because again, the boss will still hit in front of him. Again, don't wait for it. Step 9, the crossbow phase. Right after the charge, Calligraph switches tactics and targets a random player with his crossbow. This one's tricky because it's not always obvious who the boss is targeting. The best way to spot this is by keeping an eye on the health bars. That's what I do. If you see one dropping fast, you can just get in front of them. Again, there's other ways, but it's just how I do it because it's really, really hard to find who he's targeting, especially if there's a lot of melee players. Here's how, again, this works, or what you have to do. As soon as you see this kind of firing at somebody, as a tank, you need to step in front of it and soak up all the damage yourself. The DPS can actually die here if they're not careful, if the healer's not healing them. So again, this is one of those steps where it's super fast. And again, you're never going to get it perfect, but if you can at least take 50 or 60% of the bullets or crossbows, it might help the healer and the DPS survive. So again, keep an eye on who he's targeting, jump in front of it, and take the damage. Let's move on to the final step. So the final step is the big zombie mechanic, and this is the one that kills everybody. It sounds super complicated, but it's honestly super simple if you break it down in steps. Remember the 5 pins we used earlier. Now we're going to use those and make things really, really simple. So let's go into it. So step 1, the boss will set up the stage. He will cover the entire arena in smoke or like black smoke. It's going to be hard to see what's happening. Again, this is normal. Don't freak out. This is okay. All right. Step 2, the boss will summon zombies. And again, each will not have a flowing number above their heads for now, but we're going to make a number appear on them. In the first phases, up till the boss is 50% HP, he will summon 3 zombies up. When he goes below 50 HP, he will summon 5 zombies. Again, keep that in mind. It's only 3 at the start, and they will be 5 after 50%. Step 3, we have 2 key things to figure out here. 1, which zombie is targeting which player, and 2, what number is on top of each zombie's head. Okay, so step 1, finding the correct zombie. To determine which zombie goes to which player, they will be chasing you. You can simply move a few feet and see which zombie is yours, right? It's pretty easy. Just again, move a few feet, you'll find it. Step 2, the little harder part, is really revealing the numbers above the heads. To see the numbers on the zombie heads, you'll need the eye buff that you can get for the entire party. Remember earlier when I stressed how important dodging is? Well, this is where it comes into play. Every time you successfully dodged or blocked one of the boss diamond attacks, you gain a stack of a debuff, and I'll show it on the screen right now. Once you reach 3 stacks of this, you can interact with one of the red canisters around the arena. Doing this activates the eye debuff for 1 minute, which will reveal the numbers above the zombies' heads, and so forth and so forth. So again, very important that you guys are dodging because you're going to need this to make this easy. Here's an example of how we did it. As you see, I have 4 The other group members are already in line. I'm dragging the 4 away from everybody. I just made sure that I was the furthest away because when the boss does check, I'll make sure that I'm the furthest away from him, that is. Keep this in mind. The boss checks where the zombies are, not where you are. So again, keep an eye on your positioning. Once he checks, he confirms everything, the fight resumes, and we go on. So there is a zombie cheese, this whole mechanic here. Again, it wouldn't be fair if I didn't show it to you guys because a lot of people are doing it this way. So I don't know if this is a bug or a sneaky design oversight or if it's going to be patched in the future. But again, if you want to do this and use it at your own risk, okay? On the KR version, the mechanic works very simply where if you have 0 canisters filled, the party wipes. If you have all 5 canisters filled, the party also wipes. In the global version, it's a bit different, right? Having all 5 canisters filled will still wipe the entire party when you're doing, those zombies. Because if you're like in DPS, like a DPS check, right? However, if you have 0 canisters filled, there is no wipe whatsoever in the global version. So I don't know if that's an oversight or whatever. What I mean by that is, here's how you can cheese this whole fight. You start the phase by opening just the 1 canister to get the eye debuff, or the eye buff, I should say. Keep the eye on the timer. When the buff is about to expire, around 10 seconds left or so, this is where I like to do it, click on another canister to refresh it to the 1 minute, buff again. And you just repeat this, and you can keep the buff, the eye buff, the entire fight. You never have to get rid of it. So again, I don't know if this is the way it should be, if this is an oversight or whatever, but again, you might as well use it because everybody else is. Anyway, all right, that concludes the video. Thank you guys very much for sticking around and watching this whole thing. Again, I wanted to say one more time, I know this is a longer video. I don't like doing it these long for these guys. It's just this new dungeon had a lot of mechanics. Again, let me know in the comments what you guys think, if you're doing anything differently than I am. I'll love to read and find out your thoughts about this. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one, guys. I am planning to have some trial videos up soon and how to perfectly do them. Until then, take care, my friends, and tanks, keep your chin up. Take care, folks.